Dr. Latasha Ramsey-Cyprian, a mother of two daughters, is a native from Louisiana. Latasha works professionally in HR. She received her MBA from LSU-Shreveport and an honorary doctorate in philosophy from T.I.U.A. Latasha is a best-selling author, a credit repair specialist, speaker, and life coach. Latasha is the owner of Optimum Life Credit Solutions. Latasha believes the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Latasha's presentation today, The Evolution of Women. Welcome, Latasha.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure and honor to be here. So like you mentioned today, I'm going to talk about the evolution of women and the importance of women just being financially literate. So we all know that there's a long list of women trailblazers that have paved the way before us with finances. And we also are aware that the equality of the life of women, that far as there's a gender gap in pay, women have, they're making less than men. So I'm going to touch on that subject a little bit today as well. So I want to first start off and just mention that, like I said, there's a long list of women trailblazers that have been very instrumental in the fight for the equality in the financial industry. These women have fought long and hard for the equality to give the world the notice that women do, in fact, have the right to have that seat at the decision-making table. The fight for financial equality, though filled with history, is far from over. So today I'm going to talk about three women that really stood out to me that have made a very big impact in the financial industry for women. The very first woman is Miss Maggie Walker. Maggie Walker became the first African-American woman to charter a bank. She served as president of St. Luke's Penny Savings Bank until she died in 1934. According to the Farmer State Bank, Walker was the leading advocate for women and African American in the segregated South and founded St. Luke's as a way to encourage them to harness their economic power by saving their money. So that's very powerful for African American woman in the 30s in the South to go and start a bank. So I thought that was very, very informative. The second woman I want to talk about is Miss Madam C.J. Walker. So Madam C.J. Walker was born to enslaved parents in Louisiana in 1867. She became the first self-made woman millionaire through her business, Madam C.J. Walker Company. She sells hair care products for African American women. Walker has been quoted by saying, "I am a woman who came from the cotton fields of the South. From there, I was promoted to the washtub. From there, I was promoted to the cook's kitchen. And from there, I promoted myself into the business of manufacturing hair goods and preparations. I have built my own factory on my own ground." That is so powerful. Just to even read that is so powerful. Just to know that someone born in the 1800s, again in the South, is able to just work her way up and to be able to say, "I built this." Very powerful. The third woman I'd like to talk about is Miss Muriel Seibert. So Muriel Seibert was the first woman to have a seat on the New York Stock Exchange in 1967. So according to Farmer State Bank, Seibert was the only woman on among 1,365 male members on the floor. The bank went on to say that she was a loud voice for equality, having changed the jobs numerous times throughout her career because of being paid less than men. She went on to open her own brokerage firm and served as superintendent of banking in the state of New York in 1977. She was also the first female New York superintendent of banking. According to her financial corporation, it transformed her firm into a discount brokerage in 1975. So I think that's also very powerful to have a woman, the only woman amongst over 1,300 men. Very powerful, very powerful. So I just wanted to, like I said, mention, just talk about those three ladies. And then I also want to just kind of end it with the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974. So before the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974 was passed, lenders could require single, divorced, or widowed women to have male co-signers or make larger down payments on homes than men who had similar credit profiles. Some lenders even discounted the wages of women by as much as 50% when they calculated their credit card limits. Before the passage of the act, many banks outright refused to issue credit cards to unmarried women. Single working women also could not get credit. Women did not have access to credit, which is one of the basic tools of financial independence. And we know, especially in today's time, that's very important. It was also hard for women, for married women who stayed home to raise their children, to establish credit. So if they're not working, if they're, well, work, of course, being a homeowner and a mother is a job, a hard job at that, a very hard job. But if they were, being able to be a stay-at-home mother, it was very hard for them to establish their credit. So luckily, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974 was signed into law by President Gerald Ford on October 28, 1974. After the act was signed, it banned lenders from discriminating against consumers based on their marital status and sex. And it also granted women the right to get credit cards separate from their husbands. The act was a tremendous step in the financial freedom for women and a victory for minority women. The law also required creditors to provide a reason if they deny credit. So, like today, if you're denied credit, they'll send you a letter within 30 days telling you why. So, that's very good to know. Why am I being denied? And women and men now share the same average credit score. So, according to the Credit Bureau, experience data from the first quarter of 2022, women and men shared the FICO score closely in range of 705. Experience data also showed that 40% of the consumers have FICO scores lower than 705. So, of course, I always tell people the best way to increase their credit score is to pay off balances on credit cards if they can, not to apply for new credit too often, and make all payments on time to avoid new collection items. And also to just use a small percentage of their credit limit that's going to help lower their credit utilization, and that also will help raise their credit score. So today, luckily, widowed or divorced women who didn't have the independent credit accounts during a marriage, it can face difficult times getting loan or credit cards on their own. So access to credit for women wasn't always given, but now credit in your name is a must. Women have more financial responsibilities than ever before. And it's very important for them to learn as much as they can about budgeting, savings, and investing. And I want to end with just talking a little bit about the pay gap issues that we're still faced with. So, according to census, at the current rate at which the pay gap is closed, it will take until 2059 for women to achieve equal pay. The National Committee on Pay Equity says that over a working lifetime, this wage disparity costs the average American woman and her family an estimated $700,000 to $2 million. This is also impacting Social Security benefits and pension. So right now, the average woman makes 81.6 cents for every dollar a man works. So while the work is far from over, there has been women like the three that I mentioned that have stood out and stood up for financial equality. And today's generation of women that take the time to learn the knowledge around finances can also see the empowering benefits and set the standards for future generations to come. So I just want to end by just saying this: for women, it's just so important to be financial literate and to be able to have our own. And you might not need it now, but if you have it, it's there when needed. So thank you all for having me, and thank you all for letting me share my sentiments on the evolution of women and finances.
Thank you so much, Latasha. I really appreciate you. I loved what you shared. I love the stories about the three women, because that shows that yes, it is possible, so we can do it. Your title was The Evolution of Woman. We went a long way, but still a long way to go, right? We are still have many women who are financially illiterate. We are still fighting for equal pays. And thank you so much for sharing about that. I would love to ask you if someone, or when someone would love to work on their finances, and where they can reach out to you, and what exactly that you can help them with shortly.
Yes, so I can help women establish credit so let's just say they might not have credit. So I can teach them what to do to get it to establish their credit or to also reestablish their credit. A lot of times when if they go through a divorce, they're having to start over. So I can help them on that journey as well. So they can find me on Facebook under my name, Latasha Ramsey-Cyprian, or under Optimum Life Credit Solutions. That's my business page, and I would love to be able to just assist. I offer free consultations, so just to be able to provide just that basic knowledge is very important today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And Dr. Latasha, I'd love to say thank you also. What I learned from you basically is that we as women are able to avail through adversity no matter how grand it is. I mean, I knew CJ's story, and the other two it just added to that understanding that even in the times when the environment did not support our strength and our ability to rise above, that we still are able to do it. And so I thank you for educating us and giving voice to those stories that we need to know. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing me. Thank you for this platform, for allowing us to share these stories.
I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Elizabeth Keshine. Elizabeth Keshine, the founder of Destiny Maasai Chick Beads Work and Nasila CBO, is a passionate advocate for women and girls in Kajiado County, Kenya. She launched the Bead Project, a collaborative initiative rooted in her love for vibrant beadwork, one bead at a time. This creative process is not just an art form, but a source of meditation and tranquility. Elizabeth's use of beadwork to combat female genital mutilation, FGM, is driven by her desire to share the beauty of beads and their potential. Her personal mission is to preserve this art form and contribute to the community. The project empowers women and girls by addressing challenges related to wealth creation, property ownership, education, healthcare, freedom of expression, and vulnerability to abuse, violence, and disease. The Bead Project serves as an income-generating activity, IGA, enhancing financial well-being while promoting self-esteem and countering punitive traditional practices like FGM. This initiative was inspired by the formation of Nasila CBO, which unites the Maasai community against harmful practices affecting women and girls in Kajiado County. And Elizabeth's presentation will be Empowering Maasai Women. We welcome Elizabeth to our international platform.
Thank you everyone for having me here. I'm Elizabeth Keshine from Maasai land, Kajiado, Kenya. I'm a mother, and I'm a founder of Nasila and Destiny Beadswork. Empowering women is what driving me. Many rights granted to women in the year 2010 Kenya Constitution are not known or respected in the Maasai community. Cultural taboos prevent women from owning land, denying the freedom of mobility and opportunity to cultivate land for food or having business. They go through abuse, physical, verbal, and economy is generally accepted within Maasai community. Women thought that that's the way being treated for a woman. And my role is that I came to raise awareness of a woman and a girl rights among Maasai community. In 2017, I started a project called Nasila Maasai Bead to empower women in making beads and sell in a local and international market for them to have their own and stop to depend on men. It is for this reason that I want to see that the right of a Maasai woman and a girl are known and honored so that their indigeneity can be restored. For the Maasai woman, I could also to see them inquiring literally and education, leadership positions, and to have freedom of expression. I would like to see them realize their entrepreneurship potentials and exploit it. I started to start women groups for them to make deals and start small business for them to sell. And the little money they get, we started to buy sanitary pads for the girls. And I started Nasila community base to fight for girl rights. And this year, I started to mobilize many women to start on their gab and say no FGM in Maasai community in Kajiado. And through the bids we have, we started to mobilize girls. And when they close school, we started like 1 week seminars to mobilize them and buy sanitary pads so that they cannot depend on men. You know, if a girl, if they lack sanitary pad, mean they can use that opportunity to buy for them. And if a man buy a girl a sanitary pad, eventually he come for that sanitary pad. I came to realize that many girls get earlier pregnancy. This is the result that men ask them they will buy sanitary pads for them so that they can sleep with them. And I come to crack that and say our girls cannot go through this again. We will sell our bid and we can support our girls. That's the role of our women in my CBO Nasila. For Maasai girls, I would like to have a free from FGM and earlier marriages. Girls have dreams. The dreams of education to be fulfilled. Through high number of girls being enrolled and complete schools, that will make me to be a happy woman ever. As a woman leader, I believe that a rich society is one in which women and girls enjoy equal rights. This is because women are the pillars of their families. And I hope to see a voice of a man, woman, and a girl to be heard on a child guard education, equally access and resource and leadership. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing. And just for the record, okay, I know both girls. I know Marianne and Elizabeth as well. I know all, and they told the stories, what they all have been through. And look at them, the smile is on their faces. And all I can do is just admire you for that, really, for the courage, Elizabeth, for sharing the stories, for being that woman leader who you are for the communities. And this is just, I mean, it's extraordinary. You are a role model, you are a leader, you are a very courageous woman. So whoever got to listen or watch to this, listen to the messages of these girls. They are looking for help. They say no, and they are looking for a helping hand. However, they don't just stand there and wait for something to happen. They go out there and do their work on their own. You girls do the projects. You bring the women together. You teach your girl child, right? You recognize and you know the importance of education. And all I can say is just all my respect, literally, to both of you. And thank you so much for being on our platform today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
I just wanted to share a deep and heartfelt thank you. You bring so much to the table, and to stand up and educate changing cultural tradition is a hard task to do. When you have people around you who have a belief system based on something that fundamentally is harmful, and to stand up against that is no joke. And to stand up in the face of possibly your loved ones, your neighbors, your everything, right then and right there, where you're on the front line. I have a deep and unprofound respect for both of you. And for my birthday, if those who didn't know it, Elizabeth is doing a education event in December and is looking for funding. And I asked for my birthday, which is at the end of this month, big, grand, 6-0, huge, huge birthday for me. If you have the inclination to donate so that we can help Elizabeth with education of FGM, because when we talk about female genital mutilation, I don't know, I have a hard time with that word. It doesn't even want to come out of my mouth. You think that you're dealing with women, but we're talking 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. 8, 9, and 10-year-old girls are experiencing this, and then prepared for marriage. So this is no joke, and we need to help this education get out there. And so again, a deep humility for the adversity that you have to face in order to educate the population, because even though you're targeting women and the young girls, you're really making a statement to the men, the ones who impose it. And that's no easy task to do. So if you're in that Facebook world, would you please give that $5 for my birthday ask, and you know exactly where it's going to. And I want to say thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce someone near and dear to my heart. I would like to introduce Dr. Krisztina Konya. Dr. Krisztina Konya, who hails from the United Kingdom, is the Director of Project Development for Vision Afrique Development. Dr. Krisztina is a multi-award-winning spiritual coach, empowerment, and authentic leadership coach, a Usui Reiki master teacher, an award-winning international speaker, co-founder of Easy Step Group Limited, co-founder of We Champions International Foundation, co-founder of Joven International in South Africa, CFO, and my partner at Expressions of Humanity Foundation. She is the host of the Truth Runners talk show. Dr. Krisztina holds several certificates and has a bachelor's degree in business management. Dr. Krisztina received her second honorary doctorate degree for international peace from the World Federation for Development, Freedom, and Peace, registered in the United Nations. Her mission is to encourage women to find their path towards empowerment and to hold the space for them to achieve this by giving them some of the most invaluable and practical tools that helped her personally with her journey towards self-development, self-love, and growth. As our keynote speaker, we welcome Dr. Konya to our international platform.
Thank you so much, Enolia, for this beautiful introduction. And it always makes me smile. I'm sorry that it really always makes me smile when someone introduces me. And I keep saying this because I'm just sitting there listening. Oh my God, the woman is doing so much. And then sometimes I feel that I do so little. So thank you so much for the introduction. Today, what I would love to talk about is a subject really close to my heart, and which is literally it was the theme of the speaking event, which is woman empowerment. Okay, because it's a phrase, it's a word what we very often hear, but my question to you is, do we truly know what does that mean? Okay, because when we talk about woman empowerment, some might think that it's about taking the power away from men. But the truth is that woman empowerment, it means giving women the power to make their own choices and to make the decisions for themselves. Because unfortunately, we found ourselves in 2023 when the decisions are made for us. Okay, women empowerment, it is about ensuring that women have equal opportunities, they have equal rights, and they have the ability to decide and to shape our own path, our own future. Okay, and some might ask, why is important, right? Why women empowerment is important? Why is such a big topic right now? So I would love to invite you to think about this like as a puzzle. It's a puzzle piece. Because when we hear the stories, only just what we heard today, for example, and when we realize that empowering women, it's completing a puzzle which is in progress. It's building up the puzzle, putting the puzzle pieces all together. Because when a woman is educated, when a woman is healthy and happy and financially independent, not just the family, not just her community, but the society as whole will benefit. Okay? But unfortunately, what happens today, and based on all the speeches what I've heard today here and what we all know, we must acknowledge and we must face that unfortunately there are still gender-based issues that persist. Okay? In many places in the world, let it be in the United States, let it be in Europe, let it be in Africa or Asia. Okay? Women still face discrimination and it takes various forms. We were talking today about unequal pay. We are talking actually about limited access to education. Girls have no right to go and learn and to be educated. We face gender-based violence. We face lack of representation, right, in decision-making positions. Let's take, for example, the Maasai women. Although they are the pillar of their community, they have very little to say when it comes to decision making. Okay, these are issues that hold us back from really achieving true equality. And I think, Latasha, you mentioned today that it takes another 30, 40, 50 years to, to truly achieve that equality. But I don't think we really have that much time, right? So my question is how we can break these barriers. And one of the most important things what also came out today from you all ladies is that the most important thing is education. We have to provide equal educational opportunities for girls and women because this is very, very important. When a woman, when a girl is educated, they will be able to stand up for themselves. They will be able to uplift not just herself by being an educated woman, right? And we call it an educated woman, but she uplifts her family, her community, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. We need to change these stereotypes of, women are only good in kitchen and in bed. Okay, because this is not the truth. It's not the case. Okay. The other thing is that we need to ensure that we have fair opportunities in the workplace. Women have to have equal pay for men. And unfortunately, in 2023, even though women, they do the same job on the same position, or maybe they work even harder than a man, they are paid less. So equal pay for equal work, it's a slogan now, but for me, it is really a necessity. The other piece, what I think that we must change and work towards, it's I personally would really love to see an ending of all forms of violence what we face against women. We heard today, only today, a lot of them, including physical violence, domestic violence, sexual violence, right? And there is the other, what you cannot see, the emotional and psychological abuse. And then when it turns to finances, the financial abuse. Because when we keep a woman financially illiterate, she's not able to make a decision and she's afraid to leave. We talked about today, toxic relationship. She's afraid to go out there in the world and start a life on her own and make decisions for herself because she doesn't know how to manage money. And this, for me, I believe it requires stricter laws and proper enforcement, a change in the attitude of society. Let's take, for example, Kenya, right? The girls were talking about FGM, which is still happening in 2023, when in 2011, the Kenyan government literally banned FGM in Kenya. Yet it's still happening because there is no proper enforcement of the law in place. Okay. Then lastly, what I would love to say is that there is always support and mentorship for women. Because when we lift each other up, when we stay together, like how we stay together today, for example, right? We stay in communities, we only share the stories and we lift each other up instead of pulling one another down. This is what I call also woman empowerment. So when someone next time asks you what's woman empowerment and what's all that fuss about it, well, that's all about. That's what woman empowerment is. So I would love to invite today all of you, those who are here, those who are watching, those who are listening. Let's just stand together, stand in a circle, hold hands, hold each other's hands and lift each other up. Let's give proper education to the girls. Let's fight together for those red dresses. Let's fight together for bringing those pets to the ladies, it's a basic human right. And many of the basic human rights right now, well, are not really basic human rights, right? So I would love to invite all of you who are listening and they can help and they have an open heart, be like how we are today, a voice for the voiceless. And let's lift each other up. And I think that we are facing a brighter future if we are together. Everything is shifting, energy is shifting. I know, I'm aware that I might be a dreamer, but I also know that I'm not alone. Just today, I have dreamers with me, and there are many out there. And when we lift each other up, when we hold hands together, our energies, our voices are going out there like a ripple effect. So I would love to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share and to be here with all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Konya, and your definition of empowerment and the motivation behind that. So knowing that you are a spiritual coach, knowing that you bring a lot of experience to the table, and also knowing that you actually have an event coming up, why don't you share with us how people can reach you and how they could actually join your event?
Thank you very much, Enolia. I would love to invite you. I'm holding a workshop in empowerment and spirituality on the 20th of October. You can find the details on my Facebook page, which is KristinaKonya.com. It's just one thought. What I really would love is to see, happy faces. I want to see women happy. And I want to make women understand that, yes, we are powerful. Yes, we can start our lives all over again. Yes, we can leave that abusive man. Yes, we can say no. No is a full sentence. And I want to teach, it's a full sentence. No. To understand that we can and we have to set healthy boundaries. This is where it stops you and it starts me, or the other way around. And the workshop actually is about how spirituality can empower a woman and what spirituality means really, because people mix it with voodoo things and they mix it with religion. So the workshop is going to be about empowerment and spirituality. And you can find me on my website, www.KristinaKonya.com, and on my Facebook page, Krisztina Konya. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you for what you brought to the table. The words that were shared here and expressed here were not only, to me, powerful, but meaningful in that it each represents something that we really need to recognize within ourselves, because we are the gift. We need to recognize within ourselves that how power is defined does not have to be the way that it's defined by everyone else. Thank you, Aklima Ali, for that. That how we deal with our finances does make an impact, and that there are women out there through the most adverse of circumstances still found and navigated their way through everything that was against them to stand strong. Thank you, Dr. Ramsey-Cyprian, for that one. That we have two community leaders here that through the adversity of traditions that were antiquated and practices that are antiquated can be changed through education, through leadership, through coming together. Make all the difference in the world, no matter how small or the gathering, no matter how many conversations need to be had, that it can cause a ripple effect. And it starts with the community and spreads out from there. Thank you for what you bring. That we don't have to suffer through domestic violence, and that if we are recipients of helping someone facilitate getting out of a domestic violence situation, help. Be there. Be that railroad, that underground railroad for someone to stay alive. Sometimes it takes such small actions on our part in order to help something that changes their life. That we define what empowerment is. And empowerment doesn't have to be some great grand gesture that the whole world can see. But it may be as simple as standing in our truth. It may be as simple as understanding our worthiness and just saying no as the full sentence that we need to express. That when we talk about women's issues, it transcends all boundaries of classism, cultural conditions, languages, everything. And that when we face adversity, we're facing it across the board as women, without separating ourselves to say, but we're different. And if we can come together and stand in that circle, like Dr. Krisztina Konya shared, no matter what perspective we look at it, we all rise from that center point that we look at, which is seeing a better world. Contributing to humanity the way that we can, and clearly understanding that it makes a difference. No matter how grand or how small. So we thank each one of our speakers for coming, for sharing. And I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Konya, if you want to add anything.
Thank you so much. I just would love to take the opportunity to say thank you for Dr. Enolia, Foti, for co-hosting this with me, for organizing this together, because, we are stronger together. And I would love to say once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you who showed up today and speak today and shared your stories and your insights. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.